$100 bills, and it kills and it thrills like the horns on my Silverado grill. And I buy the bar double round the crown, and everybody's getting down in this town. Ain't never gonna be the same, 'cause I saddle up my horse and I ride into the city. I make a lot of noise 'cause the girls, they are so pretty. Riding up and down Broadway on my old stud Leroy, and the girls say, save a horse, ride a cowboy. Everybody says, save a horse, ride a cowboy.
Welcome back, everybody. This is Noah here from Tag and Bag Outdoors, and we've been getting a lot of popularity on our channel from our videos, and we've been getting a lot of subscribers from our videos, and we definitely want to keep those videos coming for you. So I have been trying to make more and more videos, and we will definitely have more of the outdoor hunting, shooting, ballistic videos, you know, coming for you guys. So today we are going to be discussing I believe this is our 4th Ballistic Education video. We're going to be discussing what you really need for elephant. Now, if you guys remember in our first Ballistic Education video, we did a video on the Taylor knockout formula, which is a formula that basically described smackdown power for different types of cartridges, and we compared it to the regular factory formula that's used for foot-pounds. Okay, and we basically determined that the foot-pound energy formula was definitely more precise than the formula that John Taylor used for different cartridges for hunting, you know, dangerous game and stuff like that. And in honor of John Taylor, we are definitely going to be doing this video, you know, for that particular man. Now, I know that John Taylor was not a critical role model in the hunting world. I mean, he did poach elephants, but however, he did experiment with a lot of different cartridges and calibers, and he was a very intelligent man because he did write a lot of books, and he hunted so much and experimented with so many different loads and guns and calibers whenever he went on his expeditionary hunts to Africa. Okay, I mean, this man shot thousands of elephants. Thousands. And we definitely want to honor this video, you know, for John Taylor. But he's dead now, so he's not going to watch this video. So, this video is not trying to tell you to go out and hunt elephant with these different types of calibers. It's basically showing you, you know, what the effective energy is in foot-pounds for these particular loads, and the possibilities of you dropping an elephant with these certain loads, according to the foot-pounds of energy for these loads, okay? So the absolute minimum load that you can hunt elephant with legally is a 375 H&H with a 220 grain bullet, moving at 2,000 feet per second and having a muzzle energy of 1,954 foot-pounds. Okay, that's not a lot of energy when considering for a dangerous game cartridge. Okay, when you hunt dangerous game, you want a minimum of 3,500 to 4,000 foot-pounds of energy at the minimum, in my opinion. But this is geared towards, you know, a theory. Alright, so that is the absolute minimum that you can legally hunt with. Alright, and as we go down the scale here, it's going to get a little bit confusing, but we're going to try and explain most of this as much as we possibly can. So a 30-06 with a 220 grain bullet moving at 2,500 feet per second gives you a muzzle energy of 2,984 foot-pounds. That's twice as much as the minimum for a 375 H&H. And the reason it's twice as many foot-pounds of energy is that because you have a higher velocity, you have a lighter projectile, well, you have a smaller projectile. You don't have a lighter one. You have a smaller diameter projectile moving at a higher velocity. That's why the kinetic energy is more higher than this particular load right here. Okay, so when you when you decide on a load to hunt elephant or any type of, you know, game animal, when you want to drop it, you have to consider the diameter of the bullet, the grain, and the, you know, muzzle velocity. You want the muzzle velocity as high as possible, and you want the grain and the diameter of the bullet as high as possible. Okay, so you want all your range is high. Okay, but sometimes the problem is, and we'll get to this, you know, when we go down into the black powder cartridges, the problem is that a higher grain bullet is going to decrease in velocity, which is going to lose most of its muzzle energy. Okay, it's going to, you know, hit hard, but it's going to lose a lot of its kinetic energy because of the decrease in velocity. Alright, so with a 30-06, if you really wanted to, for survival purposes, you could drop an elephant with a 30-06. Now we're going to go to a 12-gauge slug. Now this is a 2 3/4 load. Okay, a 12-gauge slug at 1 ounce, which is a 437 grain projectile moving at 1,600 feet per second, gives you a kinetic energy at the muzzle of 2,488 foot-pounds. That's pretty close to call when it comes to the 30-06. Okay, so that's, you know, that's pretty good. Alright, now imagine if you were to have a 12 gauge in a 3.5 inch shell, you know, a 12 gauge slug. Okay, you're going to increase the velocity, and that's going to increase the kinetic energy of that load. You know, when you have a 3.5 inch shell, a slug that is, you know, derived from a 3.5 inch shell, the muzzle velocity can go from 1,800 feet per second or higher. And that is a smoking load right there, especially for deer or, you know, anything. And the thing too is that when you hunt elephant, you're getting really close. You want to get up close and personal with that, you know, animal, because you want to make a good, precise, precision shot, and you want as much kinetic energy as possible. And you want that bullet to hit hard whenever it hits that animal, so it drops. Okay, and the thing too is that you don't want to make a wounding shot, because that could really piss off that animal and it can charge you. And when an elephant charges you, it's probably not going to be a good day. It's not. Okay, now imagine if you were hunting with a 10 gauge slug. Okay, that's even a bigger projectile, and it can probably give you more, you know, muzzle velocity if it's a 3.5 inch, you know, shell. All right, I mean that is a smoking load right there. Now for a 4570 trapdoor, which is a 4570 black powder load, black powder, with a 300 grain bullet moving at 1,800 feet per second, you're getting a muzzle velocity. You're getting a muzzle energy at 2,158 foot-pounds. Now they make 4570 in a smokeless load, which goes over 2,000 feet per second, and this is going to increase this right here. The 4570 you can legally hunt elephant with. Alright. However, I would not, you could hunt elephant with a black powder load, but I would not recommend it. I mean, this type of load right here is for like a Sharps rifle, all right? But, you know, it is possible. But if you want to hunt, you know, elephant with a 45-70, I would recommend going with a smokeless load, all right? Now, John Taylor, before I get to this load, he experimented with a lot of different rifles and cartridges throughout his, you know, career when he went to Africa. And he experimented with this rifle right here, which is a Martini Henry Mark IV. Well, not this. I don't know if he experimented with the Mark IVs. He might have experimented with the Mark 1s, 2s, or 3s. But he did experiment with the 577 450 Martini Henry load. Okay? And he claimed in his book, African Cartridges, that he did drop an elephant in Cape Buffalo and other dangerous game with this rifle. So it is possible, okay? Now, this gun, in today's society, is considered a very obsolete rifle, okay, for, you know, hunting or, you know, whatever. I mean, it is possible to drop an animal with this gun, and, you know, I would shoot an animal with this rifle at about 50 to maybe 100 yards. But that's it. But this gun, the caliber on this gun, you want to go with a happy medium because you want a big enough of a bullet moving at a higher, you know, muzzle velocity, giving you as much kinetic energy as possible. So you want to go with a Martini Henry, you want to go between 3 to 350 grains if you choose to hunt elephant with it. Now, it is legal to hunt elephant with a 577 450 because the bullet diameter is a 468 diameter pill. And you can go from a 300 grain bullet all the way up to a freaking 530 grain pill. And that is a big, big load. That's even more than a 12 gauge slug. You know, that has more density than a 12 gauge slug, okay? So the 577 450 Martini Henry would probably be considered, you know, a good, would be an okay rifle to go hunting, you know, elephant with it. There are a lot of better options, and I do mean a lot, but it is possible to drop one with this thing, you know. But you want to keep it around a 300 to a 350 grain pill, okay? And that's going to give you a muzzle energy of 2,116 foot-pounds of energy, all right? Now, there are books that say that you can reload smokeless loads into it, but I would not recommend that because this barrel is, you know, designed for black powder loads. You know, you could do maybe a gallery load, but that's not going to give you a high enough velocity. So, don't do it. Alright, stick with the black powder loads. Now, with a muzzle loader, Jim Shockey hunted elephant with a muzzle loader. I've seen it on YouTube. You know, it's on there. If you want to check it out, go ahead. Research it. But he hunted with a 72 caliber muzzle loader. And most people who go to Africa recommend hunting elephant with a 72 caliber muzzleloader. You know, the highest caliber muzzleloader that you can possibly get. So, however, we're going to be discussing a 50 caliber muzzleloader, which is mostly designed for big game and for deer hunting. With a 250 grain pill moving at 2,197 feet per second, you can get a load that hot. Gives you a muzzle energy of 2,680 foot-pounds of kinetic energy. That's pretty good. You know, that's almost around this range with the 30-06. Okay, so that's pretty good. So you can go from a 50 caliber all the way up to a 72 caliber if you really wanted to go and you know, drop an elephant with it. You know, the thing is that you really want to get this velocity as high as you possibly can, but you want the bullet to be stable enough that you want to have a good, effective shot. Alright? Now, the thing that really stumps me is that you can hunt elephant with a 375 H&H, but you cannot hunt elephant with a 338 Lapua. The problem is that, you know, it's the bullet diameter. You know, 338 versus 375. You know, the bullet diameter is bigger on a 375, so you can't hunt elephant with a 338 Lapua. Now, with a 200 grain pill, which is the smallest pill that you can possibly get for a 338 Lapua, moving at 3,000 feet per second gives you a muzzle energy of 3,997 foot-pounds, almost 4,000 foot-pounds of energy. Imagine if you had the same velocity with a 250 grain or a 300 grain bullet. You know, that would be a really, really good load for elephant. But the problem too is like, you do not want to be carrying a big, huge sniper rifle with you when you're walking through the woods, you know, in Africa, to take a shot that's probably going to be, you know, 15, 20 yards away, maybe 50 yards at the most. You don't want to carry a 338 Lapua. And the thing too is like, I've seen on forums and stuff like that, you know, people buy all these guns that are like thousands and thousands of dollars, and they're, you know, big enough to take out an elephant, like a 450 Nitro Express or a 500 Nitro Express or like a 458 Winchester Magnum. You know, why not hunt elephant with a 50 caliber BMG? Like, well, here's the thing. With a 50 BMG, it's not really legal to take to Africa. You can't take a 50 BMG to Africa because of the fact that it's an anti-material round. And also, with a 50 BMG, you know, when they look at that, that is a military-style rifle. So they're going to be like, no, you know, what the heck? You know, customs is not going to, you know, appreciate you bringing a 50 caliber over to South Africa. You know, they're going to be thinking that you're going to be joining some, like, terrorist group or something when you bring that over. Because in other countries, you know, a lot of people, you know, are really skeptical about that, because it actually does happen in African countries like that. Like on northern parts of Africa, you have a lot of the war going on, and then on the southern parts of Africa, it's more of, you know, some, I'm not going to say, you know, the safer parts, because I've never actually been to the southern parts of Africa, but it's more of a humanitarian style, you know, country, I guess you were to say. I don't know. But it is, I guess, you know, it's more, I don't want to say safer, but it's, I don't know what the real word is, and I'm not going to put a word out there. But, you know, that's mostly the reason why you can't have a 50 caliber over there. You know, and also, you know, if you really want something to shoot long range and you want a really big, you know, projectile, a 408 Shy-Tac is a really, really good cartridge. But the rifles are so expensive and stuff like that. But a 408 Shy-Tac would work, you know, really effectively. Okay, but that's basically the video. We discussed, you know, what you actually need to hunt for elephant. This really wasn't intended to point the viewer into, you know, getting a 30-06 and going out and shooting elephant. You know, I mean, it's not legal. People in Africa, you know, poachers, they go out and they shoot elephants with AK-47s, which is a 7.62x39, and they shoot elephants. You know, a 30-06 is not ethical for elephant, but if you're in a survival situation and you need to drop, you know, something with that rifle, You can. It's possible, okay? But I hope you guys enjoyed the video, and besides that, as always, you all have a good one. I'll see you guys later. Have a nice day.